Remember to celebrate milestones as you prepare for the road ahead. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we would be crossing another remarkable milestone in the path of success. It is indeed a great moment of pride and pleasure to welcome you all for Hajj 2020 debut SFC publication release. I am Santosh, Assistant Professor from the Department of Commerce.
I am Miss Manjula, Assistant Professor from the Department of English.
We, on behalf of St. Francis College, take this privilege to host the much-awaited Hajj 2020 SFC publication release. It is a great pleasure to welcome our distinguished guests, management, principals of different colleges, professors, parents, and my dear students.
Prayer is a wonderful way to focus our time and attention on seeking God's blessings for all the good deeds. Now, I request Reverend Brother Simon to invoke the blessings of Almighty through a prayer.
We, all of us, have come together as one education family, educating the future tomorrow. And we are the one who is going to put our heads together, planning for tomorrow, looking into our students' welfare, looking into our stakeholders. And Hajj 2020 is an initiative that is taken over by St. Francis College to give a new direction for our future learning. And on this great occasion, let us ask God's blessings upon each one of us, our dignitaries, our panelists, our institution, our staff, students, and parents, all of us together working hard to make a new era for tomorrow. Let's ask God's blessings upon each one of us, that today's event will be a landmark for a new education policy that our country is going to take. And St. Francis is part of this policy, and God may bless our institution, all our staff and effort, that a small initiative may grow like a mighty tree in the field of future education. May God bless all of us, bless the organizers, bless the panel members, the guests, and every one of us, that today's event may go the way we planned and God's blessings we really experience. May God bless all of us.
Thank you very much, brother. Now I request Ms. Manjula from Department of Commerce to brief about the college and also to give an overview of Hajj 2020.
St. Francis College, Koramangala is a minority Christian college managed by the Franciscan Brothers and is nurtured by the principles of moral uprightness, social responsibility, and pursuit of excellence. The college is secular in outlook, wherein students of all religions, castes, and communities are treated at par. The college aims not only at the academic excellence of its students, but also towards their holistic development. Well, today's event, Hajj 2020, is all about Hajj immunity, Hajj community, and Hajj thought leaders, which was conducted for the duration of 3 weeks under the umbrella of Hajj 2020. It was a great moment of learning for both the students and the faculty. The concept of engaging the students in creating awareness on immunity, community living, and thought leaders had led to the productive utilization of time during the COVID pandemic. SFC publication release is also a part of HATS 2020. The publication on the theme Educating the Next is a collaboration and contribution of articles by the principals of various colleges in the neck of the woods, faculty and students of St. Francis College. The publication is a window to various teaching and learning perspectives that augments one's intellectual horizons.
Thank you very much for briefing on the college and SFC publication. Thank you very much, ma'am. It is a glad welcome we bring to us this morning, filled with desires, hopes, and dreams we all share. Now I request Dr. R.N. Subbarao, Principal, St. Francis College, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great privilege in welcoming all of you to today's program. Publication can be regarded as an asset that enables authors to gain recognition and acknowledgement as experts in a particular field at national or international level. Publication in peer-reviewed journals also gives international recognition for individuals, for institutions, and also for the
I always, my surname, I keep
doing research is only half of the picture. If the results of the research studies are not programmed, documentations are not published to enable the faculty and students inculcating the habit of writing. St. Francis College, Koramangala, has taken an initiative in getting their articles published in peer-reviewed journals. Today, our development publication, Educating the Next, is taking place under the banner HATS 2020. As a part of the program, we have planned this discussion by eminent personalities in different fields. On behalf of the management of St. Francis College, and on our own behalf, I will welcome all the panelists to today's program. I also take this opportunity to welcome our director, Brother Simon, to this program. Welcome you, brother. I also welcome Brother Matthew, the financial administrator to this today's program. Welcome you, brother. I also welcome Director, Strategic Planning, Samira Fernandez, for the today's program. I invite all panelists once again, principals of different colleges, faculty of different colleges, invitees, faculty of my own college, and student of our college as well as other colleges. I once again welcome each one of you for the today's program. Have a wonderful session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome, sir. The leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. On this special occasion, I would like to invite the most inspiring leaders of St. Francis College, Director, Reverend Brother Simon, and the most dynamic personality of St. Francis College, Ms. Samira Fernandez, Director, Strategy Planning. Now, I would like to request Reverend Brother Simon and Ms. Samira Fernandez to set the tone for this exciting event. Over to you, ma'am. Over to you, brother. Thank you.
Good morning, one and all. We welcome to HATS 2020. It is our proud privilege to welcome you to HATS 2020 one of the largest online meetings to discuss educating the next.
This is of high relevance in today's day and age, keeping in mind the pandemic situation that has disrupted everything in the field of education. It is also a time for us educationists and thought leaders to come together and take a step forward towards positive change. Also aligned with the UN International Youth Day today, St. Francis College Koramangala aims to empower the global learning community towards collaborating on new initiatives which are centered towards holistic personalities in the generations that follow.
Today also marks a day of great significance. We will be releasing our debut global online publication, Educating the Next, which features valuable insights from thought leaders from all over the world.
We have also invited global educationists, education ministers, vice chancellors, teaching faculty, corporate leaders, well-known personalities, including all our staff, faculty, and students, to share their thoughts and insights on taking education to the next level.
All articles featured in the publication talk about a very important element of our times, a commitment for a brighter future,
a commitment that we will be fully involved in the genuine growth and holistic development of our student community.
A commitment we will make the generations that follow well equipped for any calamity that strikes, to be personal, professional, or even the unseen causes of the future.
And that is what defines our commitment as educationists here at St. Francis College, Koramangala. The cause of education will no more be seen as commercial, no more be seen as a business, but the cause of education will be in a true spirit that defines a fulfillment and a very genuine sense of well-being to better the lives of everyone who comes to our college and grows on this life's journey.
The exciting lineup of star personalities are testimonial to this truth. We are honored to have with us Indian theatre and film actor Boman Irani, who has been truly inspirational in the lives that he touches on a daily basis. Mr. Irani, we are truly humbled that you have accepted our invitation today and are with us. Mr. T.R. Parashuraman, the newly elected president of the Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce and the president and whole-time director of Toyota Industries Engine Private Limited. Dr. Joseph V.G., Honorary Consul General, Republic of Maldives, Bangalore, and Chancellor, Garden City University. Mr. Indrajit Langesh, Indian filmmaker and producer and publisher of Langesh Patrick. Professor J. Philip, founder and chairman, Sabre Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship.
We also have with us Ms. Farzaneh Majid, who is the CEO and MD of Partner Transform Alliance, both in the United Kingdom and the United Arab Emirates. Mr. Ashish Ballal, who is the former Indian hockey captain, the Asian Game gold medalist, and the well-known Olympian of our times. We have with us Ms. Ragini Prajwal, who is the Kannada film actress with her recent movie hit, Law. We also have with us Mr. Augustus Azaria, who is the HR leader at the IBM India Private Limited. We have Jalal Al Nasser, who is the regional manager, UTS InSearch University, Sydney, Australia. We really appreciate you coming on board despite the changing time zones. We have a very famous personality, RJ Riaz Basha, anchor TV presenter, and a very famous Big Boss contestant. Mr. Ibrahim Khalil, once again, up by levels, a very famous educationist from Dubai and the Saudi Arabia. We have with us Dr. Bhima Raya from the Indian Institute of Management, director at Trichy. We have DJ Ivan, a DJ, music composer, and very famous a host for the radio Hot Mix. Mr. Sami Al-Ashrafi, who is the award-winning speaker, author, and podcaster for the author, Business for Humanity, and also logging in all the way from the United Arab Emirates. The panel discussion will be moderated by Mr. Shekhar Vijayan.
Once again, on behalf of the management, faculty, and students of St. Francis College, Koramangala, Bangalore, we warmly welcome you all to Hajj 2020. It's a time to create a new tomorrow with a global learning community.
It's time to explore newer horizons together. Welcome on board.
Thank you very much, Reverend Brother Simon and Ms. Samira Fernandez, for that high energetic kickstart. Thank you so much.
Now, may I request the technical team to play the promo audio of Hajj 2020, which was aired on Radio Indigo.
Eddie Grant there with a hit from way back then, Electric Avenue. You heard it right here on The Drive.
This is The Drive with Niladri on indigomusic.com.
Let's go. In conversation with Brother Simon, Director, St. Francis College, Koramangala, and Samira Fernandez, Director, Strategic Planning, St. Francis College, Koramangala. Now, Brother and Samira, you told us about Hatch 2020, also about the panelists. Now, how does one register if they want to take part in this webinar?
Sure, Niladri. So we have our website, www.stfranciscollege.net, where we have the registration form. We also have the link to it. We can have anyone call up our lines and we will give them access. We are also having it as a webinar, so people can join the link at any time. It is on all our social media pages, St. Francis College, Koramangala, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, where we go live throughout the show with a live streaming as well. So please come and join the platform. All those interested can also visit the college, although we are taking care in terms of sanitization and safety measures. But we have different dedicated avenues where they can approach the college with more information and be part of it. We are also releasing a publication, which is the St. Francis College Educating the Next. And I think this is really powerful for us.
And various courses like Masters in Computer Science and the aviation courses that promotes a lot for our college. Though our college is new, just started 1 year back, but we have made a long leap to make our college successful through beyond our education process. And Hatch is one of that initiative that St. Francis College Koramangala made today.
Well, all the very best, Brother Simon, Samira Fernandez, with your debut publication, Educating the Next. And of course, with Hatch 2020, absolute pleasure having you here on The Drive.
Thank you, Niladri. And we wish the entire education community, students, teachers, parents, most importantly, to come together, join us, viewers, give us your idea, because this is going to go to the policy makers, not just in India, but across the world, so that we can really look and redefine the cause of education with a new holistic culture.
I request all of you to support St. Francis College, our new initiative, make our event successful. It is a global event. It is not just for just an education purpose. It is beyond that. And that is our purpose. Education beyond that is really Hatch. Thank you.
For those listening in, go ahead, join Hatch 2020. It's got a star-studded panelist to start with. You will definitely learn a lot. That was Brother Simon, Director, St. Francis College, Koramangala, along with Samira Fernandez, Director, Strategic Planning, St. Francis College, Koramangala. We got Bruno Mars coming your way with 24K Magic. Stick around.
That was Reverend Brother Simon, the director of St. Francis College, and Ms. Samira Fernandez, director in strategy planning of St. Francis College for Radio Indigo. Thank you.
It's a great responsibility to educate the next generation for a better future. To speak on the same, we have with us Dr. Ashwath Narayan, Honorable Deputy Chief Minister and the Minister of Higher Education, Government of India. And we also have Mr. S. Suresh Kumar, Honorable Primary and Higher Education Minister on board. Through video.
One is COVID is really changing the face of education and beyond. I know it's really a challenging time for you, to manage all this. What is your take on it, and where do you see the future of the education system?
COVID has changed actually the entire scenario.
Yeah.
It was not expected, unprecedented.
Yeah.
So we need to adapt. There's no other way. We need to adapt and ensure the concern of the students is well addressed.
Okay.
So that they should not be let down.
Okay.
At the same time, in the COVID backdrop, they need to learn. Learning has to happen. And their academic activity also needs to continue.
Okay.
Wherever it is possible. If it is not possible, then we need to look at an alternative. And probably digital education also has come as a handy, and that was a way forward in 21st century. The visual world was getting a lot of space, but it has been hastened because of the COVID-19. And offline and online complementing each other needs to happen, and it needs to be promoted strongly.
Great. So can you tell us something about what is it that you currently do? What is your vision in taking the role of education forward?
See, immediately the challenge before us is how to prepare ourselves in the post-COVID-19 situation. I think education is the one department which will have the worst impact of this COVID-19. We don't know how our classes will be. We don't know how our academic year will be. We don't know how our children will play. The nature of games will also change. So we are also working on that for the whether we should have classes in shifts or alternate days. If alternate days, how to engage our children in the off days. So this is the major issue that is before us, and we are seriously pursuing it. And we have to conduct the SSLC examination, that is board examination, for 8.5 lakh children. So that will start on June 25th. That's a very huge task, because after maintaining all this necessary protocol, we have to conduct the examination. And there's a big challenge and also an opportunity for us to show our department's resolve, to show our department's capacity. So there's an issue before us.
So there are a lot of media.
Thank you for such insightful messages that highlight on challenges and opportunities for educating the next.
It used to bug me that I couldn't even afford to take my family for a proper holiday. I didn't have any professional knowledge, and getting a photographer's job in a magazine was out of the question. So, armed with a Pentax K1000, I started going to various Maidans of Mumbai looking for subjects. This is none other than Mr. Boman Irani, who had begun his career with a humble start but still remains humble even after achieving the heights of success. Now, I call upon Mihir Sachdev of BCom Accounting and Finance to introduce the keynote speaker, Mr. Boman Irani.
A very good morning to all. The keynote speaker, Mr. Boman Irani, an actor, photographer, producer, and theatre artist who inspired millions of people. His acting career started in the year 2000 with commercials such as Fanta, Seat, and Crackjack biscuits. Some of his most memorable films include Munna Bhai MBBS, Main Hoon Na, and Veer Zara. His role as Virus in the blockbuster film Three Idiots is one of his most popular roles and earned his first Filmfare Award. His role as Jay Asthana earned him a Filmfare Award nomination for Best Comedian. He later appeared in Lagero Munna Bhai, for which he received several IFA nominations. Mr. Irani is an ambassador of many companies such as P. Paracoil, Exotica, Savlon, Ahead NGO, Safola, Cars 24, and Vipure. Besides being known as a brilliant on-screen performance, Mr. Boman Irani is also one of the most popular inspirational speakers in India. Sir, motivational talks are not about his journey in Bollywood, but life ups and downs until the point he became a film actor at the age of 44. We are privileged and honored to have you with us, sir. We are eagerly waiting to hear from you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good to see you all. Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor, and I feel very, very proud listening to all the things that have been said since morning. Thank you, Samira, very much for being so patient. Miss Samira Fernandez, for being I'm being rather casual, I must say, for being so patient with me and following up for me to be here. I hope I didn't give you too much trouble, Samira. All right, so I'm starting my stopwatch because I've been told that they're going to run like clockwork. So don't speak too much. I'm joking. I'm pulling your leg, of course. A few smiles will help me in the morning. It'll be very nice to see lots of smiles. Yeah, Ragini, that's sweet of you. Sri Ram Sahab, Farzane, are you Irani by any chance? Oh yeah, Farzane. See, I can spot one a mile away. There you go. Ashish Balal. My God, what an honor to meet you, sir. What an honor to meet you. Everyone here, there are so many illustrious people, so many people who I admire. But since I have a certain amount of time allotted to me, I'm going to make my speech not sound like a speech, but like a sharing, if you will. So I'm going to give you tell it to you in three segments, three very short segments. Talk about. I was born in 1959, so don't calculate. All those mathematicians immediately started figuring out, okay, so he's okay, yeah, you know my age. I was born in 1959. I was born in the December of 1959, but my father, unfortunately, passed away in the May of 1959. So I was born what is known as posthumously, 6 months after the death of my father. So I was born into this family with my mother, three older sisters. Their friends, 5 aunts on the maternal side, 4 on the paternal side. So I was surrounded by women and very, very protected and mollycoddled. And because of that, I lacked a lot of confidence. I found it difficult to communicate with the male form. So whenever a male with a big baritone voice walked into the house, I used to get scared because I was only surrounded by women who protected me. And it didn't help. It may have helped in a way that I understood women better. The female side in me is pretty strong. I'm not afraid to say it. Nevertheless, I had a speech defect. I used to stutter, stammer, and lisp very much like Virus of Three Idiots. I used to talk like that. And every time I used to speak like that, people used to laugh. And every time people used to laugh, I used to feel there's something wrong with me. And I'm damaged goods, and why am I being so protected? Why is everybody calling me Bichara Baman? I was called Bichara Baman. Bichara back up in Gujarat and in the north means poor fella. Nevertheless, my mother wanted to give me a great education. So she took me to the best school in Bombay then, of course, for admission. She was a shopkeeper, by the way. Let me have everyone's faces. I like to see everyone's faces then, rather than my own silly big mug up there. So she took me to St. Mary's School, Jesuit school. And the principal was a Spaniard Jesuit called Father Molinet. And he was the kindest man, the kindest man I've ever known, the kindest voice and the kindest face. And he told my mother, you know, Mrs. Irani, you don't have to worry about anything. I know that the circumstances, and you've been struggling with your little shop and these kids, 4 kids, no husband. We'll give your son admission, but we have to take a little mandatory test. So she says, yeah, of course. So he made me sit over there, was very kind, and showed me photographs of animals and said, all he's got to do is identify the animals, and he's in St. Mary's. Simple, right? Hold on. Well, he showed me the photograph of a horse, but to say horse, it has an S in it, so I would have to horse. Now, if I said that, he would think that something's wrong with me. So what I did was, Ashish, I just kept shut. I said, he's giving me admission. So what? Just keep quiet. Don't say horse. I don't want you to laugh. I don't want you to think there's something wrong with me, you know. I was so nervous. Then I didn't answer. My mommy's pinching me in the backside, you know. She's pinching me on the bum and she's saying, come on, speak, say, you know. That didn't happen. So she said, okay, don't worry. He showed me another photograph. He showed me the photograph of a mouth. Now, if I had said, mama, very stuttering, stammering, squeaking like a mouse, and with the tongue sticking out because there's an S in it, he wouldn't have given me admission, I thought. So I didn't answer. And he looked at me and said, son, you don't know. Yeah, needless to add, I didn't get admission. I did not get admission at St. Mary's. My mother, she cried and cried in the taxi. She cried, why didn't you answer? I said, no, I was being smart. Little fella, being smart. All these complications in the head that kids think they know better. But about 10, 12 days later, my mother received a phone call. She received a phone call from Father Molinet and said, Mrs. Irani, I have failed. I have failed. I'm an educationist. I mean, I should know better than that. Think about it. And he was so sweet to my mother. I couldn't hear, but this is a story my mother tells me. And he says, Mrs. Irani, which child doesn't know what a horse is? Which child doesn't know what a mouse is? Of course he knows. He's just shy. He's just protected. You send him to St. Mary's School, Mrs. Irani, and I will make a man out of him. And he gave me admission. And I will be always grateful for that. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this. I'm not saying it just so that I honor my school. Yes, ma'am. Point noted. Okay. The reason why I'm telling you this story. Never give it a chance. There is a potential in every time.
Okay. So how's your grandson?
You'll have to mute back everyone, please. Console, you'll have to mute back everyone, please.
She had C-section, is it?
So the point I'm making is that give everyone a chance. Don't judge a book by its cover. And there is hope for everyone. I learned when I went to school, I had problems with learning. Dyslexia, dyscalculia, not dysgraphia, by the way. And I just could not understand numbers. Even today, you tell me a number and ask me to recall that number. Even if it's a number 14, I'll not remember it. 5 minutes later, I'll say another number. I don't remember numbers. I don't understand concepts of arithmetic, basic, simple arithmetic sometimes. But the point is, when you are dyscalculic and dyslexic, the good old days in the 60s, that used to be considered as, there was a scientific term for it. The scientific term for dyslexia was duffer back in the 60s. Thanks to the movies and thanks to Amir Khan for making Tare Zameen Par, that people, parents, teachers, educationists even, are more and more conversant with the simple concept of dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, and other learning disabilities. We test our children on subjects that we think they should excel in. Some children might have mathematical intelligence, some might have general academic intelligence, and some children might have artistic intelligence. You've got to tap into that, not just necessarily rubbish the child that does not have mathematical intelligence. Don't judge kids by how well they do in maths alone. Judge them by their potential and what they will be in the world that they will face after you finish their education. And not for a minute am I saying anything about children who are academically inclined. God bless you. But there is a warning sign there, that when you are academically inclined, you might excel in institutions, but please be careful, because when you go out in the big world out there, you might use that academic achievement as a sword. And don't do that, because you have to grow even after you leave college, school, and even post-graduation. You have to grow and you have to succeed in life. So if you swing it as a sword in front of everybody, you might end up cutting yourself or maybe chopping off your own neck. Just be careful of that. What you need to do is have, apart from academic intelligence, you have to have people skills, ethics, and kindness to take you a long, long way. I went through life having dreams of being on stage, in front of the camera, of being a photographer, being in the arts. And the moment I fulfilled my responsibilities to my family, I took on that journey. It's taken me time, but there are no such things as timelines. You make the timelines yourself. You fulfill every dream that you have of achieving what you want to achieve in this lifetime. I just want to make one more point before I go. Is day before yesterday, my friends, day before yesterday, I was invited to an institution. And I'd love to say it's not very different from yours, but it was a school of special children. It was a school of special children, and children with all kinds of special needs. Children who can't speak too well, with different kinds of conditions, born with certain, I don't want to describe it, but they are only special. They are actually no different from us. They are just slower, mighty slower than what we may be. And I was there and I was joking with all of them, and we were laughing and we were having the time of our life. And we did a little bit of dance together. They sang a little out of tune. They spoke with a huge slur sometimes. Some of those kids, because of their condition, their growth, they may not have eyebrows or hair, and their faces may be what we may consider not proportionate, if you know what I'm saying. We consider ourselves proportionate. To me, they are even proportionate. That's the way God made them. They are proportionate. They are proportionate. And there was this lovely little moment where I took to this little girl. She was very, very big in size. Her name was Nilufer. And she was laughing away, showing me her teeth, and she didn't have hair and she didn't have eyebrows, and she was laughing and joking and cracking, making fun of me and talking about my movies, and with not much clarity, but I was getting it. So I spoke to the principal after the event. And I said, I just love that Nilufer. She thinks she's fantastic. She's fabulous. She's fabulous. And I said, tell me a little more about her. And this is the story that I want to end my talk with. She said, the principal said, you may not know this, but I'm a very shy person and a terrible public speaker. And I have great fear of speaking. And for all my events, I don't speak, I make somebody else speak. And Nilufer came up to me and said, ma'am, why don't you speak? So she says, because I'm very shy and I have stage fright. So she says, ma'am, You're the principal. Say, yeah, but it's okay. Say, no, don't have stage fright. And don't be afraid. So then what do I do? Saying, you must imagine, this is this kid who has complex issues. She told her, whenever you speak to the public, think that you're speaking only to me. Nilufer is standing in front of you and you speak only to Nilufer. And you see how you speak. Now, my point here is that yes, we learn in school, college, and books, but we can also, throughout our lives, learn something from everybody and anybody. Never stop learning. This story resonates in 500 different ways. You take away what you want from it. Nilufer's story, to teach you, never discount anybody. Do not treat them that they are, not as bright as you, because I think this was a brighter thing said by any human being to a person who snapped out her fear thanks to this special child called Nilufer. I think it was the greatest lessons that I learned. I just want to add and conclude. I was not a great student. Maybe that was the reason why I haven't stopped learning. I haven't stopped learning because I was not a great student. And I used to feel everyone used to call me duffer, 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 duffer. Today I'm speaking in front of a college. 7 years ago, I started learning a new craft of screenwriting. And today, right through this lockdown, I have now completed 109 sessions of teaching screenwriting every single day. Soon after this, I'll switch myself off and I'll go to my class and I teach. And while teaching, and every teacher on this panel will agree with me, we are learning. Teaching is learning. Teachers are wonderful people. Teachers also learn, only then can they teach you more. So my point is, at the age of 61, there, I've given you the mathematical calculation, I remember that number. I wish to direct my own film. I wish to write my own film. I will debut this year or the next year as a film director. At the age of 61 or 62, doesn't matter. Nobody makes the rules about at what age you want to do what. And I'm proud of it. I want to be proud of all of you, and I'm very proud to be here with all of you. Thank you, Samira, for inviting me. Thank you all. God bless you. Thank you. Exactly 15 minutes.
That was an amazing experience listening to you, sir. What an exemplary narration. I'm sure this would be a great inspiration to all of us in educating the next. Ups and downs are a part of everyone's life. It is I that can bring a change. Thank you very much, sir, for such useful guidance. We shall ever be grateful for your great ideas. I'm sure it would go a long way in guiding the youngsters in their path, in their career. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and being a part of this event to make it all a memorable time. Thank you very much, sir. And I would request everyone to give a thumbs up to Mr. Bomanirani, sir, and please give a big round of applause for him for being with us. Thank you very much, sir. I would request everyone to give a big round of applause for him. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you. These special children, when they applaud like this. They applaud, they say thank you like this, and they applaud like this. Thank you. That was nice.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Now I request Ms. Lata, Head Department of Statistics, to introduce the guest of honor, Mr. T.R. Parasuraman.
A very good morning to all. Mr. T.R. Parasuraman President of Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, and all-time Director of Toyota Industries Engine Private Limited. Mr. T.R. Parasuraman currently works with an affiliate of Toyota Industries Corporation, Japan, and has been working in the Toyota group of companies for nearly 21 years. He also plays the roles of President and Deputy Managing Director of Toyota Industries Engine India, a venture between Toyota Industries Corporation and Kirloskar Systems. Further, he was the past chairman of the Quality Circle Forum of India, Bangalore, and held many positions at the Automotive Component Manufacturers Association of India, the Confederation of Indian Industry, and Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Mr. T.R. Parasuraman has moved through various sectors of business as diverse as manufacturing, purchasing, finance, human resource development, safety, and environment. This combined with his ability to network through industry bodies such as Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Confederation of Indian Industry, Quality Circle Forum of India, and the Indian Machine Tool Manufacturers Association has afforded him an abundance of knowledge and business acumen in the automotive industry. Mr. T.R. Parasuraman is very much inspired by the famous quote of Sakichi Toyoda, the founder of Toyota: "Open the window, the whole world is in front of you," which T.R. Parasuraman believes has brought tremendous change in his work ethics. We are glad to have you on board. I request Mr. T.R. Parasuraman to address the gathering.
अब इन्हें बात करता है टोयोटा में.
You're able to hear me? Good morning.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you so much for the very kind introduction. First of all, very good morning to all of you. In fact, I'm still yet to recover from the inspiration I got from Mr. Irani. Amazing, sir. Hats off to you. You really made us our day. The top management of St. Francis College, Father Simon, Mr. Subbarao, Mrs. Samira Fernandez, dear student community, the teaching faculty, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I'm very honored after hearing to Mr. Irani for a wonderful keynote. In fact, we always learn from great leaders. Somebody said learning is never ending. And road for success is always under construction. There is nothing called success. And tomorrow's success is tomorrow's failure. In fact, I always used to think, what is the difference between success and happiness? Success is always not happiness. But if you're happy, you are successful. I think this is what time and again that I keep on thinking. What is success and what is happiness? Ultimate purpose of life, I think, is happiness. If you're able to achieve that, I think that is the greatest success. So many times in the umbrella of success, we always misunderstand happiness. I think I feel this conference is very, very significant and very important at this point of time, because COVID has taught us several lessons. It has made us human beings. It has taught us humility. It has taught us kindness, love, human values, love for our family, friends, society, I think whatnot. So I think organizing this seminar, especially for the student community all over the world, I congratulate Samira and team for bringing all the stakeholders towards a common purpose. Swami Vivekananda said, education is the manifestation of perfection which is already in man. And Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. I feel three things are very important when you talk about education. One is knowledge, second is skill, and third is attitude. But I would bring attitude at the bottom of the whole house. It is a foundation. Because education without attitude is just like a flower without fragrance. That education has no meaning. So how do we develop these three things? They are mutually dependent and each supports the other system. Today, when I look at education, especially the first standard question I asked all the engineers, I had the opportunity to interview thousands of engineers in my career. So I don't ask them rocket science questions, E is equal to mc square, never. I always ask them very simple, fundamental questions. Some of the questions that I ask the engineers, please draw the three views of a cricket ball. You know, it's not a rocket technology, but believe it or not, 90% of the students make a mistake. When they write that seam, they're not able to imagine that. Cricket ball has got a seam, beautiful seam. And I always ask them one more question in terms of mathematics. What is the longest stick you can place on a cubical meter, 1 meter side? Believe it or not, 99% of the students have not been able to answer this question. Why I am telling this? Rightly said by Mr. Irani. I think education should give you the practical wisdom. It should teach you life science. In fact, it is something like I mug up today and pass the examination. It is like somebody giving me fish every day, but I should know how to catch fishing. I think that is what education should teach all of us. If you're able to get your own fish every day, I think you made it. Therefore, today the fundamental thing is missing. People talk about rocket science.
So you've muted yourself, unfortunately. You have muted yourself, sir. Could you please unmute yourself?
God. So from which point I muted? I'm very sorry, my apologies. When did you last hear me?
So you were speaking about education.
Oh, sorry.
No problem, sir.
My apologies, sincere apologies. I don't know how it happened. So education, I always talk to students. I had the opportunity to interview thousands of students in my career. I asked them a very simple question. What is the shape of a cricket ball? And interestingly, 98% of the students are not able to answer. The three views, not a big thing. Then the longest stick, you can place it on a cubical meter of 1 meter. And again, same results. So this education is able to teach us millions of jargons, but we are missing the fundamentals, what is important for life. In fact, education should teach us how to catch fishing, how to catch fish by ourselves. Somebody buying us fish every day, that has no meaning, which means it should be able to give us the practical wisdom of life. And secondly, education should create value in the society. If you are not able to make a difference to the society, that education has no meaning. And thirdly, education should be eternal, which means rightly said by Mr. Irani, just passing out of the college, mugging out, that education has no meaning. So what makes you a learning library, which means you learn every day. I always talk about the Johari window, the 4 quadrants. The first quadrant says, I know that I know. That is self-confidence. Second quadrant is, I know that I don't know. That is humility. Third quadrant is, I don't know that I know. That is latent talent. And the fourth quadrant, I don't know that I don't know. That is ignorance. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand, 99% of the time, we are sailing in the fourth quadrant. We think that we know. The fact is, we don't know that we don't know. I think this is the biggest irony of life. Moment you open the window, as rightly said by Sakiji Toyoda, the whole world is in front of you. The learning starts pouring. In fact, I was listening to Swami Sugabodhananda. In one of his lectures, he said, an experiencer should experience an experience without an experiencer. Sorry, can you imagine? Means you go to watch a movie. Watching the movie is the experience. Before you go to see the movie, somebody has told you the movie is useless. Already the experience is lost. Your mind is completely out of that area. Therefore, have an open mind. Once you have an open mind, I think the knowledge starts flowing, and that is where you open the fourth quadrant, and the whole world is in front of you. Therefore, my strong appeal to the student community, to the teaching community, please teach the fundamentals, the application portion. And today we are able to see millions of people who did not have their formal education. They're all ruling the world, even starting from Ambani-ji. I can quote several examples. Even if you read the life of Steve Jobs, it's very interesting. He was not an avid reader, or he was not very good in the school. He did not like. And many people, Srinivasa Ramanujam, the brilliant mathematician. I think Mr. Irani also rightly said it. All you need is to understand the purpose of life and what I want to achieve in life. And there is only one life. My father always tells me, what is the worst thing that is going to happen in life? Death. Please die only one time in your life, not 100 times a day. Many times we are dying 100 times a day, and we also don't know what is the problem. We are trying to give solution to a problem which doesn't exist. In fact, finally, I would like to conclude my speech. I don't want to take much of your time. In Toyota, A3 writing is very popular. In fact, several years back, I attended a leadership program in Toyota, Japan. Very simple. All I have to do is make an A3 presentation at the end of my 6 months program. And I had some 3 meetings in my AP office in Bangkok and 4 or 5 meetings in Japan for this A3 writing. Interestingly, I had almost, I recollect, 48 or 49 revisions of the A3 paper with my then managing director, Mr. Isashi Suzuki. And if you ask me, have I completed my A3 writing? I think I'm not satisfied. All I'm trying to say is, it's very easy to make a 1,000-page report. It's very difficult to make a 100-page report. And if you have to make a single-page report, it is the crux of the crux. I think all juice is getting churned many times. And that is where the human development happens. So I always keep telling, somebody said, when you look at Earth from an horizontal distance, it is round or circular or rectangular in shape. But once you go 1,000 kilometers above the sea level and see Earth, it's a beautiful blue ball. You should be able to put it in your pocket. I think this is where the macro vision comes. This is where the visionary comes. As students, please reason out. Please don't accept somebody said, good or bad. Please reason. I think once you do that, then you get into an introspection and you become a thought leader. And this is the real purpose of education. Recollecting the words of Abdul Kalamji, which always inspired me. Where there is virtuousness in my heart, there is beauty in the character. Where there is beauty in the character, there is harmony at home. Where there is harmony at home, there is order in the nation. Where there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. And Rabindranath Tagore also said, where the words come out from the depth of the truth, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, into thy heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. In fact, from Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce also, as a president, my full support to all these initiatives. In fact, we have a special cell called the Industry Institute Interface, very actively led by Dr. Subramanya as the chair of this forum, of principal of RV College. So I would like to work hand in hand with all these initiatives and also with St. Francis College. I congratulate Samira, Father Simon for this wonderful initiative. And I also congratulate Mr. Irani. I'm very inspired. My day is made today, sir. God bless. All the very best. Thank you so much. Wishing this event a wonderful success. God bless.
That was a height of humility that makes us admire great personalities like you, sir. We are indebted to have you amongst us. Your ideas on educating the next with more focus on knowledge, skills, and attitude are the essence of education. The young generation should take it seriously. Learning is never ending and it's a part of human development. I thank Sir for his valuable insight on the educating the next.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to request Ms. Minnie, Head Department of Commerce, to introduce today's chief guest, Dr. Joseph VG.
A very happy morning to all. Our chief guest, Dr. Joseph VG, is the Honorary Consul General to the Republic of Maldives in Bangalore and also the Chancellor of Garden City University. Dr. Joseph is an advisor to the Peer Committee of National Assessment Accreditation Council, which is an autonomous body of the University Grants Commission, Government of India. He is also a patron member of the Red Cross Society of India and several other international organizations. He is the recipient of many awards like Shikshana Ratna, Bharat Samman, Karnataka Chetana, Pratibha Ratna, Karnataka Bhushana, Pride of the Industry Award, Education Evangelist of India, and Karmavir Chakra instituted by the United Nations for his exemplary contribution to education. We are honored to have you with us today. I request Dr. Joseph to come on board and address the participants. Thank you.
Namaste. Good morning to everyone. Lovely to hear the great from the inception, brother, and of course, our lovely madam, and the great inspiring speaker, Irani and Parashara. I 100% agree with Mr. Irani and Parashara. So I need not to elaborate in this. Dear friends, dear students, my lovely students and parents, it's an honor to be St. Francis College Koramangala's event, Educating Nest. Even I am an educationist. I have a lot of things to say, but considering the time, and of course, you know, you are all eagerly waiting to see, otherwise listen to the, panel discussion. So that will definitely enlighten you much more. I just wanted to tell you one thing. As an educationist, dear teacher, please teach the students how to think, not what to think. Because whatever we learned last, many of things are outdated. Really, many things are not in use. So the universe is changing, and our days and the technology is also every day is changing. I recall my memory when I purchased iPhone 5. Now I think it has gone much, much, much further. Therefore, whatever you study, otherwise, what is that you think might make it tomorrow. So teach the children how to, not what to think. Point number one. Second point is, now COVID-19 is the biggest challenge in front of us. Today, of course, technology giving a lot of opportunity for us to educate ourselves, otherwise teach our students much better way than olden days. Because children were sitting in the class listening one teacher, and they did not have any option. Today, they have plenty of option to know new things. My humble suggestion would be, just tell them what they need to study, which are the avenues are available. Please teach them. That definitely will serve the purpose. Finally, and last, Fear definitely makes men die. My dear children, you need not to fear. डर आ गए तो मर जाएगा. डर नहीं है, हम जीने के लिए है. We have to live here. We have to be successful. And the success is not reserved for one. It is for all. It's open. There is no, question that one or two can success. It is open for all. Finally, at the end, I tell you, there is a lot of competition in every field, but there is no competition to become a good human being. That you can learn yourself and observe your neighbors, your friends, well-wishers, and learned people in the society. With these, my best wishes to St. Francis College, and of course, brothers, administrator, and faculty members, Sister Samira Fernandez, and all my loving viewers. Thank you, one and all. All the very best to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable views on educating the next. Would certainly be a beacon of hope for the youngsters in exploring the new pastures. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion, sir. Once again, on behalf of St. Francis College, I would like to thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now I would like to request Ms. Jinsi CP, Head Department of Mathematics, to introduce the next chief guest of the day, Ms. Sami Al-Ashrafi.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Sami Al-Ashrafi is an award-winning speaker, author, and podcaster. He is recognized as one of the world's leading voices on values and culture change, and has won a host of accolades, including Most Visionary Business Transformation Chief Executive Officer, Game Changer of the Year, and Most Influential Chief Executive Officer of the Year. He authored the book Time for Humanity. He is the founder and CEO of global learning and management consultancy Marmalade Fish, which has been named as the first certified benefit corporation in the Gulf Cooperation Council. Marmalade Fish also won the Best Organizational Change Consultancy and Change Management Company of the Year award. We are honored to have you amidst us, sir. Now, I request Mr. Sami to lead the session.
Lovely. Well, what an introduction. Thank you, everybody, for having us, and to the people who've organized the event, but also the honored speakers so far. So much has resonated with me. On my journey, I say we don't need a world of more successful people. We need somebody to step up and to be kinder, to bring their humanity to business. I remember many years ago listening to a story. Apparently, it was said that somebody asked Michelangelo, "How did you create the finest sculpture on earth?" And the story has it, he replied, "I didn't create him. All I did was work with marble that nobody else wanted to work with. And I chipped away at that marble in order to reveal this statue of David." And I love that image, because the leaders, the senior leaders who I work with now, we're on a journey to kind of peel off the layers, to unchip the marble and to reveal their humanity, because we're all born perfect. That was what Mr. Irani said. So if we're able to peel off the layers and to bring our full selves to leadership and to become, I use the word, more conscious, more aware, then I think we're going to be better placed to deal with the challenges. Because in the old days, they said we lived in a VUCA world, standing for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. But as we've heard, it's like VUCA 2.0 now. The world out there is crazy. And so all we are doing then is to mind, how do we then change ourselves in order to show up? So many leaders I work with believe from their education, from their school and university, college days, that they need to have the right answers. But as we've already heard from the distinguished guests, there are no right answers anymore. The beauty of the world is there's 7.8 billion of us, and we all have perspectives and beliefs. And those perspectives are partially right, and they are partially wrong. So when I think about a human being's fundamental need to be seen before they are heard, and then before they're spoken to, it's like the three wise monkeys: see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. If we want to get better at seeing and hearing people, then it's going to become important for us to suspend some of our opinions and some of our knowledge in order to listen deeper, to understand and co-create something that's more meaningful, or in other words, building our humanity. You see, if I think I'm only a leader at the age of 27 or 35 or 40, then I'm missing an opportunity to recognize every single one of us, 253, we are all leaders in our households, our communities, our colleges, and our businesses. A leader is somebody, anybody who is willing to step up. But if I have the unhelpful thinking that I'm being promoted in business based on my opinions, then my employees look to me for my opinions, and we create this unhealthy dynamic of giving and receiving opinions, which we said earlier is partially right and partially wrong. So if you imagine something in transactional analysis called parent, adult, child, the dynamic I see so often now is that of parent, child. And I would love us to create a dynamic of adult, adult. That means for some of us stepping in, unpeeling some layers to show our humanity. And then for others, it's about slowing down. It could be pausing a little bit longer, or it could be asking somebody to share their perspective before you do. It might be replacing words like no for I have a different perspective, or changing words like I disagree for talk to me why that's important to you. I call this like a 1 degree shift. You know, the Titanic ship, had it moved 1 degree just a second or two earlier, it would have gone safely by the iceberg. And I think we can all agree with COVID-19, we know what the iceberg looks like. So it's a chance for us to just make these 1 degree shifts. And when we create these tiny shifts, 1 degree in a month, 6 months, a year, it will take us somewhere entirely different. So my invitation today is maybe we unlearn some stuff in order by the end of this wonderful webinar to relearn, peel off our layers, show up with our humanity, and let's co-create something that's more meaningful for us in these very challenging times. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. What a lovely insight on the faith, on one's belief. Beliefs change, make wonders, and beliefs can change lives. Thank you very much for giving your time.
Every moment is a fresh beginning, a wonderful inauguration of great cosmic journey through the universe. The much awaited moment of SFC publication rolls out. I request all the distinguished guests, Mr. Boman Irani sir, Dr. Joseph VG sir, T.R. Parashuraman sir, and Sami Al-Ashrafi sir to kindly release our first debut publication. I would request all the distinguished guests to say a word and say release the publication. We would go ahead with it, sir. Officially release the SFC publication Hatch 2020. I request everyone to give thumbs up or raise your hand or clap for us for virtually releasing this SFC publication to celebrate this wonderful moment. I request everyone to give a thumbs up virtually or raise your hand, celebrating this wonderful moment. Thank you all for such wholehearted encouragement. Once again, thank you everybody from St. Francis College. Now, let us listen to Dr. Bhima Raya, Indian Institute of Management, Trichy, on educating the next.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, educationists, students, faculty members, and all distinguished viewers. Educating the next is a great theme which needs greater attention in order to meet the challenges of today's world. It is time to step beyond traditional approaches to execute education to effectively meet the complexities of the today's business world. The world of today has become so competitive and at the same time filled with a lot of uncertainties. The future focus should be on developing leaders with sound technological skills, communication skills, behavior leadership, and innovative problem-solving capabilities apart from critical thinking. Blended learning at all universities should be made open and mandatory. Simple life skills, communication skills should be part of the curriculum and special focus should be given to them. Corporate exposure is a high strength that makes a student market ready. Social media can be used as a platform to enhance the e-learning experience and make it more interactive, meaningful, and informative. Considering the ever-increasing demand for jobs and employment growth, there is an urgent need to build a genre of entrepreneurs who seek opportunities and develop a plan for using any challenge to innovate new employment generating models in addition to improving the nation's economy. I would like to conclude by saying that innovative and practical training will train young people to become successful leaders and entrepreneurs for the better tomorrow. I wish St. Francis College, Koramangala, all the best with Hatch 20 and beyond. Thank you.
That was Dr. Bhima Ramaya, Indian Institute of Management, Trichy, on educating the next. Thank you for your valuable words, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we would like to move on to the panel discussion. I request Mr. Shekhar Vijayan to take over the panel discussion. Also, I request all the panelists to be on the board. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much. First up, I would like to thank Bomani Ranani sir and Mr. Parsuraman, Mr. V.T. Joseph, Sammy, and Mr. Bhimaraya Maitri, I think, for the wonderful speech. Bomani Ranani sir, my mother is a big fan of yours. She keeps watching 3 Idiots every second day. That's one way to get over the pandemic. And I must tell you, sir, storytelling is what you are so good at, and you're so inspirational and so motivational. And your story resonated with everyone out here, including my dog, whose name is Sunshine. So, sir, we love you for your spirit. I think you're a wonderful person in more ways than one. Now, to everybody who's here in this very interesting Zoom call, I'm talking about students, teachers, academics, media. We've got some very interesting panelists. We've got actors, actresses. We've got leadership coaches. We've got Sammy, who just released his book. We've got a very interesting panel. I would say it's a potpourri of very intellectual and global thought leaders. A warm welcome to all of you. Now, can you all clap for yourselves? Because as performers, we all love any kind of applause. So can you all clap for yourselves? And I would like to introduce the eclectic, versatile, and the very creative panel once again. I'm going to go really fast. First up, I'm going to call on Mr. Bomanirani, Mr. T.R. Parsuraman, Dr. Joseph V.G., Mr. Indrajit Lankesh, Professor J. Philip, Farzana Majid, Ashish Balal, the very warm Ashish Balal, Ragini Chandran, Augustus Azaria, Jalal El Nasir, Riaz Basha, Ibrahim Khalil, DJ Ivan, who also completed 28 years as a DJ on 7th of June. And Sammy, who just released his book right now as we talk, Mr. Bhimraya, who spoke very inspirationally a few seconds back. We would also like to thank Brother Simon, Samira Fernandez, of course, and we would also like to thank the International Education Consultancy, IndigoMusic.com, BCIC, EcoSoul, the Indian Express, Catholic Club. Smile and clap because you will be featured in the papers tomorrow. So please clap for them, everybody. All right. All right. I'd like to get on. I would like to get Mr. Augustus on board with us. Augustus, sir, who's from IBM India Limited. Sir, I have a question for you. And if he's there with us, sir, can you unmute yourself? And for the rest, please don't, let's not take calls in between because that will spoil this entire panel discussion. Once again, for everybody who's listening in, this discussion is gold dust. We're talking about education. We've got some very interesting thought leaders here who are very versatile, very inspirational, very passionate, and I'm using all the adjectives I can. Mr. Augustus, sir, your views on the current education system and where do you feel the need for change?
Thank you, Shekhar. Firstly, good morning to everybody here and truly delighted to be here, especially among students, makes me feel very younger. Okay. And current education system. Where are we on the current education system? I have some good things to say. Now, firstly, if you look at our current education system, it served its purpose and it continues to serve. Gosh, are you getting an echo?
No, you're perfectly fine. You're perfectly fine.
No, it's fine.
All right, thank you. So current education system has served its purpose. It continues to serve it. Look at Sundar Pichai, Google, Satya Nadella, Microsoft, Arvind Krishna, now IBM, or closer home, Narayan Murthy and Azim Premji of Wipro, and the list goes on and on. Where did they study? What education system did they follow? They followed our Indian education system. But where did they excel? They excelled because they believed that a college degree is no passport to a job. A college degree does not guarantee your job. So they took on additional skills, went on and also became risk takers, founding organizations and, breaking barriers. All right. So in the new education system, my thoughts on the need for change is to bring in risk, innovation, and skills as the new currency. And learning is a continuum. It doesn't stop. It continues. And I also have to tell you that today's environment, with what has happened with COVID and things like that, it has not put a stop to things. In fact, it has accelerated a lot of stuff and it has brought about a pause, not a stop, a pause for us to introspect from where we are, gain perspective from around, and then see where we can go and change course. That brings me to why we need to have this education system is that with data, there's data all over. And now that it's digital, data is the new oil, which means that educationists, educators, students we all have to go crowdsource and look for things. And apart from that, you have to see how ready we are. Using data and predictive analytics, you can say whether a person is good at this. Is he trending high, trending low? You can make those predictions as a faculty or an educator. You could also look at sentiment analytics to understand whether this person has the right sentiment for learning on that particular day or time, and what is he or she preferring to learn. So learning preferences will happen, okay? And last but not least, is the ethical use of data. Organizations, colleges, institutions need to build ethics and integrity, because with so much of data around, you need to build that into the system so that we use it for ethical purposes. And also, while you are in a fully connected digital environment, anything that goes beyond unacceptable norms will be seen, because you're completely unmasked. When you're on the digital platform, you remove your mask. So which means that all your connections and things like that will come into play and provide clarity as well as referrals in terms of where you should go next. So to quickly summarize, what I see as a change in the system, okay, is transparency, ethics, integrity, data management, and of course, how you use technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I think that is very, I think it is very relevant, very practical, and very futuristic. Thank you so much for that, sir. Bomrinani, sir, I want to come to you. Sir, I was listening to your speech very intently, and so it was all about storytelling, because you were able to inspire us, you were able to make us cry, you were able to make us laugh, you were able to connect with all of us in more ways than one. And sir, that comes to my, so I have a question around this. How relevant is storytelling to education?
Wow.
And somebody's playing music. Can everybody mute themselves?
It's relevant. It's relevant. Yeah. Don't worry about it. I think, that's a very interesting question. It is very relevant. Storytelling is relevant to education. I think, what teachers do, they come and stand in front of us and speak for an hour, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 45 minutes. Eventually, what are they doing? In many ways, they are actors on a stage. They're all by themselves standing over there, and they're putting something across to you. Now, if you give me a teacher that gives me only facts, then what will happen is that what is it, especially in today's time, what is it that you're telling me? You're telling me, not teaching, that I can't pick up my phone and figure out in minutes. I think teachers have to be wonderful actors. I learned of a new thing called drama therapy in psychology. People are using stories and storytelling and drama to help and heal people with mental illness, mental health. The speeches that we heard today from these wonderful gentlemen, I was so inspired by all of you, sir, is eventually storytelling. You might have all the knowledge in your head, but if I cannot put that out there to the world with a little bit of humanity, and it might be of no use. I feel very proud. Today I'm teaching screenwriting. And screenwriting is something that helps me not only understand how to make movies and tell stories, but I think it improves me and every student of mine as better human beings because of stories. Our grandparents are very, very special to us because of those lovely stories that they told us. My mother is very special to me because every night she would play mother and father to me, and she would take me in her arms and tell me an anecdote, a story about her childhood, about her uncle. And then we read about great people. And more often than not, I'm inspired by the people she speaks about from her life, her mama. And I'm saying, I want to be like that. So in everything, I think a story comes into place. It's not just there for entertainment. And everything that I've learned today, whether it's about travel, about great people, about great events, about history, about kindness, has been from the movies. So you find your source of education, but believe me, storytelling will play a great part.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Can we all clap for him, everybody? Come on. I think it's straight from the heart. Ragini, I also want your perspective on this, on storytelling and how relevant it is to education. What's your thought around this?
Yes, so hi everyone. Thank you for having me here, Shekhar, and thank you, Samira, for having me as part of the panelists. Thank you, Bowman Irani, sir. I think I could relate so well to what you were saying because a little background about me. So I'm a classical dancer, Kathak dancer, and I've also run my own dance and fitness studio. And I've always been inclined to arts. But that's why I always thought about how, what draws me to that. That's because I can connect to it so well. So I've also done my academics, and sir, I could just so relate to what you were saying. I was asked to drop out from maths when I was in the 9th standard. I used to be taken to a separate classroom and say, you sit and do environmental studies here, and everyone else would do maths. And I would look at myself and say, is this all I am? But then it was such a downer for me at some times. And then I got the duffer word too, because you don't know math at all. And then no one would drop it out at 9th, in the 9th standard. So when that started off, that's when I had to say there is something else which is a strong point in me, and that's when I thought dance was my therapy, and that is what has taken me till today. And I was in fact one of the first choreographers in my dance school itself, in my school, to teach the entire standards from like say 3rd to 10th. Usually what the teachers would be doing, so every teacher would call me to class and say, now you choreograph for this batch. So we would have like our annual day or the talent day. They would say, now you do it for this batch. That's when I realized, I say, I don't have to look down. And that's where my storytelling came into place. So I could express myself so much better. And along with that, there's always a point where you think of yourself and say, okay, this is always the arts field, but is that going to fetch me money? Am I going to be able to make money out of this? Is this something that I could, be a stable future? I was thankful always because my parents and my family, after even me being married, everyone has always been supportive to say, you can do this. And that's when, again, my storytelling is helped. Being a Kathak dancer, Kathak itself is Katha, is storytelling. So the whole strength that we have is we can just do this and speak with our eyes. We can just give our face and not even say anything much and say so much through dance. And I think as teachers, being a dance teacher or even being in fitness, sharing an experience is what is most important than giving a knowledge and saying, you know what, this is what I want you to be. Now, when I tell someone and say that, I was a dropout at math, but then today I'm able to show a girl and say, this is what you can also do for yourself. And this is a sharing of an experience. And I think that's what performing arts helps me with. And in the whole line, I'm saying, even after I also took up a job at Target, and said, no, this is the way of doing life. I'm going to work and do a 9 to 6 job and earn. And that's when I realized I was counting the pegs. Okay, my job profile was counting the number of items on the shelf. So I would count every day and say 1, 2. Okay, so today there are 9. It took me 10 months to realize and see, what am I doing this for? I would rush back to my Kathak class and then go from 7 to 9 p.m. and then dance. And that's when, it would give me that the happy hormones coming out. And that experience when I share to my students and say, today, it's never about you just giving it in books. Maybe I was still good at academics, but not math. But to say, okay, Ragini, now it's your time to choose. And today when I have students from the age of 5 to 60. And where we're teaching, and I'm also a part of a dance company called the Abhinava Dance Company. And we perform all over. And the special feeling it gives me when I'm able to reach out to people who have no background with classical art. But when I give them a small little story about how Natkhat Krishna was, or how, Krishna and Radhe play, and then, the whole concept of Zoom was actually ages ago, where a letter would come in and then they would come and they would picturize the hero talking to them. Today we call it Zoom. Long back. So the way we could relate to it is, this is how it helps. So as a teacher, always understand or empathize with your student and say what is running in her head. maybe it's not this field, maybe it's the artistic side of you. And the way you will see your student progress or transform is that itself is an achievement for a teacher. And that itself is our learning. That's what I have seen in my journey till now, where I'm able to learn so much from the student. As sir also mentioned that when she could, the special child you were talking about, sir, who could inspire a teacher to say, no, this is the way you should be going to. I have had a lot of experiences the same way. So I think storytelling is actually experiences sharing, and in any field, in fact. So that is the way to go to now. And for in the current times, especially keeping the digital platform, if I'm going to be telling my students, say, okay, now this is what happened at this time. No, this is what the history teacher would say. I'm sure our students are going to go like, so we need to have a way, even digitally, on how we could reach out to our students the most. Because today I know when I'm able to teach about, say, 25 students in one batch, a dance routine, can you imagine the number of, internet lags or the way it could go? But you need to know how to reach out to them. So literally I give them homeworks and say, okay, I've taught you this step for today. Tomorrow you're going to be showing this with your mummy and papa to me. So it's not like just, so literally I have this step and I have a tutting style that the father and the child do together and show me. So it's a kind of a bonding that they do, and not just a responsibility saying, okay, I'm sending you to learn something. So that kind of a bond is what I've been able to create with sharing experience, and that's with storytelling.
Thanks, Ragini. I think you showed us some new dance moves also, and I think her movie is also streaming on the OTT platform. If you don't get a chance, please watch Law, everybody. I think it's wonderful. Thanks once again, Ragini. I would like to move on to Mr. Ashish Balal. Ashish sir, he's a former Indian hockey captain, Asia gold medalist, and the only Olympian I know. So can we all clap for him first of all? I think he's an Olympian. That itself is a big deal, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
He's a very warm, very genuine, and a very tall man. You should not mess with him at all. So I have a question for you. How do you prepare for uncertainty and promote agility and adaptability in today's day and age? The reason I'm asking you this is because you're a sports person, and in the arena of sports, everything is uncertain. Like what we see right now in terms of COVID-19 and the pandemic around us. What do you suggest to everybody out here? What is your piece of advice? How do you think how do you think education can play a role, and how can one prepare for uncertainty in this situation, sir?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. Life itself is full of uncertainties, and you have to live. Starting of my life, I come from a family having 4 elder brothers, and all of them went on to do engineering and went on to do PhD, and I was the last sibling. Not that great studies, just trying to get the 35 marks to pass every year, and just out of something happens, and you click in sports, you go on, and life has been full of uncertainty. And when it comes to a sportsman's life, it's full of uncertainty. You don't know if you're going to twist an ankle on that day, or you're like 1 year before the Olympics. I was in the top of the things, suddenly broken arm, went through surgery, had to echo. Am I going to be in the Olympic team or not? So like you just can't live in fear. You cannot make life okay. What is going to happen? Am I going to do this, or am I going to achieve? You got just move on in life. Perseverance is the key to everything, and you got to battle every day as it comes. You set realistic targets on what you want to achieve. You work hard towards your goal, and that goal setting is there. And it's important. You should not be scared of failure, because in life there are going to be more failures than actually reaching your goals, reaching your targets. Because only when you have failure that you learn so much, you convert a lot of negativity into positivity, and bide your time. Stop being afraid of failure. So that has been the real key over here. Like when I started off, a South Indian guy going playing hockey, which is a total North Indian sport. Straight away from having idli, dosa, sambar, you go and have. You start the day with roti and dal, which we have never seen in the 80s when we grew up, but we had to adapt ourselves. We have to adapt quickly because you got to go for training. You better eat your roti and dal, and that's all you're going to get. So you have to adapt very quickly, whether it is training. Over here, you're running for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So the continuing in life, you have to adapt partly. You have to be agile in your mind. You have to take quick decisions, and you should never be double-minded. You take a decision, stand by it. Whether you win or lose, you stand by your decision. All decisions you take in life are not going to be positive ones. You're going to be having failure, but you have to accept the failure and go back to the drawing board and work hard and see that it becomes, you convert that negative into a positive, and that's what we do in sports. And that's what my advice to all the youngsters is: just have goals and don't have the fear in life. You're gonna have a lot of failures in life. Accept it from day one. Yet you are gonna have failures. There's no person on human earth that has not had failures in his life. So just be positive. Take everything positive. Have a strong mind. That your mind is very important. Your communication is important. You need to talk. You need to get people on your side. You need to be positive. You have to have a happy atmosphere. So bring that, by you being happy, you get a happy atmosphere. And that's what I advise everybody, and just be happy. Thank you for having me over here. That's my bit.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I think this piece of advice is gold dust for everybody who's listening in, watching in, because sports is the greatest metaphor in life, like they all say. And like Ashi Balal sir mentioned, I think failure is the stepping stone for success. If you haven't failed, you haven't succeeded, period. Now, I want to move on to Farzaneh Majid. Ma'am, is she there with us?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So your Iranian friend. Yeah, Farzaneh Majid, ma'am, I have a question for you. Ma'am, first up, welcome to this very, very interesting webinar. And, it's wonderful. It's like a typical Indian wedding where everything is happening and everybody's talking. But ma'am, the question for you is, how can education be an instrument of social change? I think we need to unmute you. 1 minute. Can we unmute her, please?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? Perfect. Yeah, I was saying the worst nightmare for me would be not to talk, but my husband would be very happy. Yeah, I'd like to start my session with a quote from one of my idols, Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "Education means all-round drawing out of the best in child and man, body, mind, and spirit. As such, education becomes the basis of personality development in all dimensions: moral, mental, and emotional. Literacy in itself is no education." And he also added that education must correspond to the surrounding circumstances, or it is not a healthy growth. I would like to ask people and differentiate between education and what we see in today's or in the past. Is not just memorizing a few facts and figures and then passing tests with high marks, but then when we go to the real world, we're not a good human being. That's how the world around us is changing. We need to accept, and I come from a very similar culture as you, that our parents expect us to be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer, or we're a failure. If you want to become a dancer, an actor, an environmentalist, then we haven't succeeded in their eyes. But the world needs all of these people. I'd like to ask, who's fortunate enough to be a parent or to be in the presence of a child? So when we have children, what is the first word that they start asking? Usually they ask why. Why, mommy? Go to bed. Why? Drink milk. Why? Let's do your homework. Why? But we usually are busy. We're preoccupied with something else, and we keep telling them, well, that's just drink it. Don't ask me too many questions. Just do your homework. Don't ask me too many questions. Go to bed. Don't ask me too many questions. Buckle up your seatbelt. Why? Because I tell you, or because there is a policeman, there is so and so, if you don't drink your milk, I'll take you to the doctors. We never tell them why they should do that. Our child turns 6, 7, they go to school, they're full of questions. They're very inquisitive. They want to know why things are the way, why there are lots of questions in science classes, in maths classes, in literature classes. If we're a good teacher and we want to educate the child, we will answer those whys. But if we are preoccupied just with ticking the boxes to say, oh, I've covered this module, I've taught what they have to do in their exams to get a good mark, I would tell them, don't ask too many questions because I'm the teacher, I'm standing here, I know more than you. However, we've entered an age that sometimes our students know more than the teachers. So we need to turn this table and allow the students to ask the questions. Our teachers need to become mentors rather than just somebody who's bombarding them with facts and figures and ask them just to memorize. If we want to bring social change to our societies, I would like to recommend that we need to change KSA, knowledge, skill, and attitude, to ask. It has to be attitude, skill, knowledge. Our children need to know why they have to learn. They need to know why they're getting educated, because by being more educated, your critical thinking, your decision making, your analytical skills have been nourished. You won't fall into prey of radicalism, of people who want you as a prey to do what they want you to do. They will be asking why. They will be more democratic. So those are the type of things that we want to nourish and educate our people. Obviously, if they are educated, we know that they would be able to get more higher paid jobs. So they would be taxpayers, they can help in our community, in our governments. But that's what we need to change. And as I said, appreciate the children the way they are, allow them to ask that why. Why do they need to do that? And we don't need to have all doctors or lawyers or engineers to have them included in the society. Inclusion is very, very important. And we have different learning styles, we have different characteristics, and the society needs everything to be a better tomorrow. That's my message. Change KSA to ask for the better society.
Thank you, ma'am. I think, like you mentioned, I think change is only constant, and teachers have a very active role here. I think teachers are not just teachers; they're also influencers. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. Now, I'd like to move on to Mr. Riaz Basha, the wonderful Riaz Basha. He's a pioneer in the field of entertainment. And can we unmute him? Is he unmuted? RJ Riaz Basha. Okay, I think we have lost him. I would like to also call on Professor Philip. Is Professor Philip there? Professor J. Philip, founder and chairman, Xavier Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship. Is a very respected name in the field of management and entrepreneurship. Can I get Mr. Professor Philip? Is he around? All right. I'd like to also call on DJ Ivan. DJ Ivan, he is one of the oldest hands in Bangalore. If anybody's heard of DJing, it's because of DJ Ivan. Is DJ Ivan there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. DJ Ivan also completed 28 years of DJing on June 7th, if I'm not mistaken. And I had spoken to him yesterday. He said, I will be awake till 4 in the morning. So that speaks about the fact that he's not ODing on Netflix or Amazon. He is out there creating music for all of you. So first up, a DJ like DJ Ivan is very special because he's doing something which he likes and loves, and he's been doing it for the last 28 years. So can we all clap for him, everybody? Because this is what drives people. This is passion at its best, I believe. Now, DJ Ivan, I have a question for you in terms of how do you think music can play an important role here in terms of education?
Music has always been my life, and I finished my BCom, and then in 1992, and I wanted to be a DJ, and nobody knew what a DJ was. So everybody thought, we had to do the regular things. And if you wanted to be a DJ, you needed to be the DJ on the weekends and do a regular job. But I thought differently. I wanted to do it 24/7. And I think I had a lot of courage and a lot of guts to follow my passion when it was something that nobody knew about. And 28 years later, it's evolved into something that we can't even imagine. It's so huge at the moment, the whole industry, the number of people that are into it, music producers, DJs and everything. And it's a wonderful option for any kid to explore if they were like me, who loved the music and played music as kids, at home, and listened to their fathers and grandfathers' music and whatever. So the opportunity is tremendous, and the potential is also huge at the moment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It goes without saying, everybody, can we all clap for him once again? I think he's very inspirational, and what he does is amazing. He creates music, which is never easy, and it's pure passionate play, like I always say.
Also, I'd like to add, COVID and everything that's happened now, we are going heavily into the virtual side of things. So broadcasting is going to be huge. So, it doesn't stop here. Even though our industry has come to a standstill in terms of what is happening in terms of nightclubs and bars and everything opening, the virtual side of things is really opening up. So we're doing a lot of virtual parties, broadcasts and stuff like that, which is becoming huge. So I think it's really important that if you're inclined musically, they still need to, incorporate it into schools and colleges and teach people how to DJ and produce music and stuff like that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to also call on Samira Fernandez. But before I call on Samira Fernandez, Bomarinani sir, so during the entire talk and during the keynote speeches, I think one important point was, I think the best attitude is gratitude. And that's something which is very, very relevant in today's day and age. Because of the pandemic, I think the world has become smaller instead of larger. And because of which we are all talking about education and everything around it. Now, Samira has a special message for you, sir.
Hi, Boman, are you there? Whoops, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I just need to tell you that you've really been an inspiration, not just to the students. I have to admit, to the faculty, the teachers, the management, everyone. And, the moment I called you for the first time, you were really amazing, so positive, so open, and very warmly welcomed us with a yes. And I think you've really led by example, something that we all need to learn from and something we will never forget. So there is something I usually do not do, but I'm going to do it today as a special exception. Not to you, but on behalf of everyone else from the whole world, the global learning community. Are you open to that? Yeah. Can you unmute him as well? Can you unmute Bowman? Bowman, can we hear you? I can't.
I am. Can you hear me? I'm unmuted.
Lovely, lovely. We can hear you now. So,
Yes,
so,
yes.
so Bowman, first of all, you look wonderful, and thank you for being with us. You're one of the first, special guests who came on board today online, logged in very early. So I really love the timeliness as well. The students have asked me to give you an online flying kiss.
Oh boy!
Yeah, can you believe it? Like so many requests, and I didn't know what to do. But then I said, why not? Because you're anyway very far apart. But I hope you can catch it and keep it in your pocket. Don't let it go in the air. And let
You watch my Ashish. You watch my goalkeeping skills.
Samira, is it only us? All of us can give him a flying kiss.
Of
right?
course, yeah. Okay, hold it. Watch my Ashish. Dekh lena, boss.
Yeah, Ashish and everyone else. So let's treasure
Correct.
it.
Am I right, Ashish? Show me the stance to stop. Yeah. Correct.
So are we supposed to blow the kiss? What is it, Samira?
This is my first time, so I really don't know. So can I request everyone out here from the global community join me, and if we can just give a tight, warm flying kiss to Bowman Irani for all the love, warmth, and everything you've shown us, and you're really a beautiful human being. I should tell you that. So shall we start, Shekhar?
Yeah, come, hurry up.
Yeah. I just hope my wife doesn't come right now. I think I'm blowing flying kisses too. Virtually that too.
Good things take time. Okay, at the count of 3. Ladies, gentlemen, all of you. 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm touched, I'm moved, and that's what all this is about. One last thing I'll say about this pandemic. People have been through wars, plagues, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, much worse. You aren't in such a bad position. Do not feel that we are in a bad space. This too shall pass. And post-lockdown, remember, it won't be just the survival of the fittest. It'll be survival of the purest. Find purity in this time. We have been blessed with time to find and reach into our hearts and find purity. So the survival of the purest is the motto that I put out there. So good luck. Flying kiss back.
Thank you so much, sir.
Every one of you. I got a class in 5 minutes. I got to prepare. So
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. That is very heartfelt. Thank you so much. Thanks, Samira. Now I would like to call on, I'll have to unmute. 1 minute. Can I? Yeah. I'd like to call on Mr. RJ Riaz Basha. He's a pioneer in entertainment and he's got a wonderful voice. Hi, Riaz. And
hi, Shekhar. How are you?
Yeah. So I think in the field of entertainment, learning, unlearning, and relearning is the mantra. And it's always been there since time immemorial. And now we are, it's become very cool to talk about it now because pandemic, everything is happening online. People are talking about reskilling, upskilling, and, learning new skills. What is your take? Because you are an inspirational person in your own team. You have also been in the big boss house. So you know what the pandemic feels like in more ways than one. So Riaz bhai, I want to know from you, what's your message in terms of, learning, unlearning, and relearning?
So I don't know, for some reason, okay, first of all, thank you so much, St. Francis College, Koramangala, for having invited me here among so many eminent personalities. I mean, I can't imagine myself sharing the stage with somebody so awesome like Bowman Irani, Mr. Parashuraman, who is the BCIC president, and so many people, right? So thank you for this honor. And secondly, I feel blessed for once that I'm in the company of these great people, and I'm also here given the opportunity to share some of my story. Okay, so Shekhar, your question, which is what's the relevance of learning, unlearning, and reskilling? Yeah, I mean that's how I would like to put it. In the sphere of things that I do, this is something that's a given. That's a second skin to us. You need to always keep upskilling yourself or keep innovating rather. So as many of you say, we need to unlearn a few things. I have a slightly different thought process to it. You can never unlearn something is what I feel. Right? You can, of course, learn something new, but you can never unlearn something, is what I feel. There are experts over here who have different opinions on that. But that said, I tell myself always, innovate, keep innovating yourself, and never settle down for something. And when people ask, "Kab settle ho raha hai?" in our country means when are you getting married, right? Or kab settle ho raha hai professionally, right? But you can never settle yourself down to something. Even if you're a student, you can never settle yourself to accomplishing something. Okay, I relate with DJ Ivan, who is one of the biggest DJs of the Asian subcontinent, and he's done so wonderfully well to everybody. So there was one day when I was standing in front of this nightclub called Spin, which had just opened back in those days. I'm sure DJ Ivan will know this, right? And I saw all these great people like DJ Ivan, DJ Cletus, and so many people going in there. And a lot of people wanted to make an entry into the club. And I said, if I'm going to make an entry to this club, I'm not going to be doing an entry just like anybody else walking in, asking their names to be on the guest list or just, hobnobbing with somebody. I'm going to go there one day and share the stage with these great people. And so I prepared myself to do that. And one day I happened to share the stage with Cletus, and also a couple of events with DJ Ivan, who's such an amazing person himself. But did that stop me from there? Did that tell me that I've accomplished that I need to stop there? No. So and then I moved on and branched out on something else. So my passion as a compeer led me to branch out into many other things. For example, I have the passion to sell something. So I used that to my advantage and became a sales anchor, right? And I did sales anchoring for companies that dealer and distributor needs to increase their revenue in a single evening. I did that. I did that as a wedding host. I did that as a voiceover artist. I did that as a radio jockey. I do that as a webinar expert. I do that as a panel moderator. I do that as a team building expert. There are so many things that you can keep doing by learning new things, by upskilling yourself. And that is something that is omnipresent in what we do in any sphere. You could be anybody you are. You need to just brush your skills up in whatever you're doing. You can't do everything, but you can be the best at what you know to do. Right? So Ragini shared so many things about how she's a storyteller through Kathak and how she uses that to her advantage. And much before she could discover, a lot of people had discovered that about her. And without her knowing that she's a great choreographer, people seeked her advice on it. And then thereafter, she discovered that is something amazingly well that she can do, right? I learned from Mr. Parashuraman as well about the A3 concept today. I learned from Mr. Boman Irani about how to find talent, how to learn from somebody even so unassumingly, so unassumingly different from Nilufer. That story of Nilufer, of course, is going to remain with me always. How to appreciate people in a different way, right? So, of course, for the context of your question, unlearning or learning and relearning, call it whatever you want to, but innovating and constantly upskilling yourself is something that you need to do and something that I love doing as well. Shekhar? So since Shekhar's wife must have called him right now, which is probably the reason why he's stuck. Okay, there he is. Shekhar's back again now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was just listening to you, and you summarized everything so well. I think I think Riaz Bhai is very inspirational in more ways than one. He's done a lot of work for COVID-19 also, as we talk, and he's somebody who has stayed in the Big Boss house, and he knows what the pandemic is all about. He's a champion in more ways than one. And I think anybody in the field of entertainment is used to this environment where everything changes continuously, just like what this panel discussion is all about. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Appreciate Shekhar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'd like to call on Professor Philip. Is Professor Philip there? Mr. Professor Philip, founder and chairman, Xavier Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship. Is Mr. Professor Philip there? All right. I'll move on to Ibrahim Khalil. Ibrahim.
Hello, Shekhar. How are you?
Hi, Ibrahim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. So, Ibrahim, before we start, I want to let everybody here know that Ibrahim was all set to become an engineer, and he ended up becoming a coach who likes to sing songs.
No.
I'm just kidding about that. But Ibrahim, I had spoken to you yesterday, and you told me that it is your gut instinct which allowed you to do what you did, and your support structure, of course. Now, tell me your thoughts around infusing entrepreneurship in this educational curriculum, because what you are is an entrepreneur, because you've got your hands in various pies. as we talk. So please tell us about that and then end it with a song.
First of all, let me thank everyone for being here, and I'm honorable for being invited to such a webinar. It's really a good thing that we're talking about here in the presence of everyone, in terms of parents, teachers, and even students. Let me start by my story. Everyone shared the story, and I'm happy to share mine. I've actually graduated as an engineer in 2008 with a master's degree, and that was influenced by my father. God bless him. He was planning to make me study engineering, because that was the trend. You're a telecom engineer. You have to be a telecom engineer, technology, blah blah blah. Blah. I was like, okay. So I took this initiative, and I did my master's in telecom engineering. And unfortunately, I did not work in telecom engineering. I worked in various engineering sectors, civil engineering, construction, blah blah blah. But I didn't work in telecom engineering. And I thought to myself, what am I doing? Is this what I want to be? Is this what I'm planning to be in the future? And actually, we researched a lot of things, and I ended up being a coach certified by the International Coaching Federation, ICF. To talk about entrepreneurship is it really needs courage, discipline, accountability, a lot of efforts to become at least what I've become today. And I would like to share something to all the audience, that education is not a phase, it's a journey that will never end. I'm always learning anything every day. I'm learning a lot of stuff every day. This is something that will never end. COVID-19 was a shock for everyone. We all, as Mr. Sami said, had to shift one degree to one side, so that we can see the world from a different perspective. Technology is playing a great role, and that helped us to be here today on Zoom. And if there was no Zoom, no technology, I would have come to India, took a ticket, and so technology is playing a really good role. It's changing too much and at a fast pace. We need to cope with that, to change our perspective in education for the new generation to see that change and accept it. That's all what I need to say. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, can we get Professor Philip once again? Professor Philip from Exime, Bangalore.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, very much. So before we start, I have to tell you this. I have a very close friend whose name is Nitish Thomas, and he's conveyed his regards for you. He considers you his mentor, and he was extremely happy to know that I'm moderating this discussion with you, and he passes all his love and wants you to stay strong and healthy.
Yeah, I want to correct the record. I was here from the beginning, but I remain unmuted.
All right, sir. So I have to.
Remain muted, so I couldn't reach you. Whenever you called me, I was there. So sorry, I couldn't come in.
No problem, sir. Your smile can launch 1,000 ships, sir. That's more important. Yes, sir. So yeah. So we wanted to know from you.
Yeah.
So we wanted to know from you, what is the role of education in the present scenario, with the world becoming smaller and closer because of the pandemic? So what is the role of education right now as an instrument of change?
Okay. How many minutes do I have?
So you have time. Don't worry. You can, please.
All right. I'll try to answer that.
Yeah.
So, let me start by saying I'm so happy in this group. When I was looking at everybody who came in, including Mr. Parasuraman, I realized that I must at least be 30 years older, the senior most person in the group. Last month, I completed 60 years of teaching. So you heard me. On July 3, 2020, I completed 60 years of teaching. It was on that day, 60 years ago, I started at XLRI Jamshedpur. The only problem that I have is I have only taught at the postgraduate level, and that too at autonomous institutions, not in the university system. But having said that, let me come to the role of education in this, the new world, and particularly the post-COVID world. Right. I would imagine the basics will remain the same. What many people said, the knowing, the doing, and the being, which is the knowledge, skills, and values, attitudes, they will remain the same. What we are missing, I think, all along has been, in India particularly, the value system did not get the importance that it deserved. And that was, by and large, a kind of failure of most Indian institutions. That needs to be brought back to its rightful place. Now, skill, you don't have to mention the importance of that skill. That's the one which gives you livelihood, really. That's the one which prepares you for the long haul, the 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, or how many years, or 60 years, as I did. Right? How good are we? I remember an incident, since we're talking about schools and colleges. I was there at the first Independence Day, 1947. I was in the 6th standard. So we were all running around like mad little kids, not knowing what's happening. August 14th, the night, 1947, we are becoming Ajadi, but nobody knew what Ajadi was really. But we decided to have a meeting, the school, my school, all of us got together at midnight. And some of us were supposed to speak. And my teacher said, you must speak. I was at the 6th standard. I said, how do I speak? He said, I will help you to speak. So he wrote a speech for me, said, memorize it and deliver it. So 1947, August 14th, the night, I gave my public speech. And when it was all over, there's a thunderous applause. Next morning, the teacher came and said, you made the best speech and you can speak. And that particular skill which he sort of planted in me and encouraged me, took me along. So I had some very interesting that happened in my life. But I'll tell you, I just used one skill, the communication skill, which is so important, which took me at last. I brought it to Bangalore as the director of IIM Bangalore. If somebody asked me, what is it that made you IIM director? I'd say this was one of the things which made me. And the other things several people have said. If you develop the kind of value system which we see, integrity particularly, and empathy. You asked about what is it? Empathy. Yesterday, preparing for my talk, and I couldn't go into all that, I interviewed my 2 grandchildren. One studying in Aditi school here, and one studying in Atlanta, United States. Both are straight A's all through. I asked them, now, what is special about your schooling? Why do you go to school? And the grandchild studying here said, Papa, I love my school. I love to go there. My teachers are really our friends. There are only 20 in the classroom. They are friends. They behave, they treat, they work with us as colleagues, senior colleagues. And the kind of freedom that we have is just unbelievable. Now, my American granddaughter said, Papa, you know, I'm also straight A all through, but I'm not fancy the school very much. The reason being, all teachers are not very exciting. I have a lot of, she used expressions which I don't want to use. So I feel like studying myself. I spend a lot of time reading and studying myself. I wish we had better teachers. Now, teacher is critical role. And I tell you three things which I would like to see happening in our schools or colleges. Three things I added to all that what we said. One, can we develop what we call this basic trait called curiosity? If a school can develop a child good in curiosity. A second one, a very, very famous study, Harvard University professor David McClelland, psychologist, he was interested in this topic of achievement. Why a country progresses while some others remain behind. For example, America and Brazil. Now Brazil was way behind, America is quite ahead. And both are comparable, natural resources, population, all that kind of thing, white countries, European countries originally, but US is far ahead. And he came to the conclusion, what really matters is achievement orientation. And he said, if a country is populated more with achievement-oriented people, that country will progress. So I come back to this issue. In the school, can we develop this achievement orientation? I must achieve, I must be somebody. That's the role of the teacher. Not hit on the head, but to push the fellow. The experience of mine, I said at my 11th year, I made my public speech because of a teacher. A third one which I would add is the old slogan, make your habits first, and then habits will make you. Make your habits first, and the habits will make you. Can we give at the school level the right kind of habits? And if you have the right kind of habits, I remember I went to XLRI Jamshedpur, but it was late in my years, a Jesuit school, Jesuit business school. That's where I grew up as a professional. Now I developed some habits there in Jamshedpur when I was a young faculty member. It keeps going. And I look back and say, thanks to the Jesuits that I developed these habits, which made me somebody in my profession. And so there are three things which I add here to all that you said. School, college, curiosity, achievement orientation, right kind of habits. Thank you very much. I live very close to Koramangala, St. Francis College. I'm almost a neighbor. So it's a pleasure to participate in this dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the priceless words of wisdom in terms of curiosity, achievement, and everything else which you mentioned. It goes without saying that we are extremely honored and privileged with your presence. Can we all clap for sir once again, everybody? Come on. I think he's very soft-spoken and he's got a wonderful smile. I would like to call on Mr. Jalil El Nasir, Regional Manager, UTS InSearch University, Sydney, Australia. Mr. Jalal. Is Mr. Jalal there? All right. So, yeah, I've got one more question for the wonderful Riaz Basha. I'll unmute him once again. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Shekhar.
Riaz, in the work which we do in terms of entertainment, I think storytelling plays a very important role. We got a perspective from Mr. Bominadani, from Ragini. I wanted to get your perspective in terms of how relevant is storytelling, because storytelling is there in all forms, right? Music, everything what we do. How relevant is storytelling right now in the current scheme of things in terms of education?
Okay. Now, storytelling, Shekhar, I mean, storytelling is an absolute must for everybody. It's one of the oldest forms of teaching, is what I believe. It bonded the early human communities, giving the children to answer to the biggest questions of whether it is about creation, life, afterlife, and so many things. Because stories really define us. They kind of shape us, they control us, and they also make us in certain ways, right? So now, also there is not every human culture in the world is literate, but I feel that every single culture says stories, tells stories. That's how important it is, right? You could be from any part of the world. Your culture says stories. Your grandparents tell you stories. Your parents tell you stories. And there are stories that make you, right? And anytime, even if it's a speech on stage, if you start with something like once upon a time, there lived, you will have every member in the audience turn their attention towards you, even if they're busy on their smartphones. That's how important storytelling is. And let's also speak about the advertisements, the TV commercials or the radio commercials that we hear today, okay? The advertiser tries to pack in a story within those 60 seconds to capture the imagination of the audience so they can sell their product better. Point in case, when I was a kid, I grew up listening to this, watching this ad that said, "Jab main chota bachcha tha, badi shararat karta tha, meri chori pakdi jati, ting, ding, 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 ding. Jab roshan hua, Bajaj." Correct, right? So many of you got the name of the brand right. So, and the story that the advertiser tried to pack in that was, when I was a kid, I used to do a lot of mischief, and I used to get caught doing the mischief because of the turning of the bulb by Bajaj, the bulb by Bajaj. The brand remained, right? So when there's storytelling in the movies, why not education system? Right? Because this is something that needs to be seriously looked at. There is a lot of theory, there's a lot of practicals, there's a lot of things that happen in education system. If it is same thing is said in the form of a story, it'll register a lot more in the minds of the students, and they'll go back remembering every one of the thesis, theory, and everything far better, and they will make a greater impact, is what I feel. Because I also believe that as an educational institution, as a college, you are the biggest library of stories. And I'm not even talking about the books in the actual library. I'm talking about the human library with stories in each of the students waiting to be heard. So as educationists, as teachers, as stakeholders of an educational institution, there's a huge opportunity to script a super hit story in that student. And that is why storytelling, I feel, is extremely relevant, is extremely important in these times, especially now after what we've gone through. So everybody can go ahead and make a story of their own. That's what I believe in, Shekhar.
Thank you so much, Riaz. You made it so clear and so sharp and so precise, just like the Aryan that you are. And I'm guessing you're an Aryan, right? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. And now we have come to the end of this very interesting discussion. We try to get all the panelists to come in and speak. And for everybody who's listened in, the teachers, the students, the thought leaders, the people from the media, I think my mom is also watching this. For everybody who's listening to this, I think thank you so much. But before we go, I'd like to thank all the panelists, the eclectic, versatile, and the creative panel which we have. Let's hear it once again for Mr. Boman Irani, Mr. T.R. Parsuraman, Dr. Joseph V.G., Indrajit Lankesh, Professor J. Philip, Farzane Majid, Mr. Ashish Balal, Ragini Chandran, Augustus Azaria, Mr. Jalal, Mr. Sami, who's launched his book today also, and Mr. Ibrahim Khalil, EJ Ivan, Mr. Bhimaraya, and Brother Simon, Samira Fernandez, and once again, let's also hear it for the International Education Consultancy, indigomusic.com, BCIC, EcoSoul, the Indian Express, Catholic Club. Before we finish, Samira has told me we all need to one gesture. So can we get everybody on screen right now? Is it possible? Can we get all the videos, everybody, just for a minute? Yes, Samira, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to blow a kiss or? Yeah, we can do this because that's what Hatch 2020 is all about, right? With all the energy and all the smiles. So I want everybody who's here, who's on the screen right now, please do this, Samira, including you. Everybody. Professor Philip, sir, we need you also. Professor Philip, yes, we love your spirit. Riaz bhai, lovely. Ragini, we're going to watch a movie again for you. Yeah, thank you so much. It's been wonderful connecting with each one of you. All of you are super special. And once again, Samira, over to you. I'll have to unmute Samira. Yes, Samira.
Really wonderful to see you all here. And now may I request Brother Matthew, who is the Vice Provincial and also the Financial Administrator of St. Francis College, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you.
Brother Simon, Director of St. Francis College, Dr. Subbarao, Principal, Ms. Samira Fernandez, Director of Strategic Planning, our esteemed panelists, faculty members of St. Francis College, participants and viewers. We have come to the end of this program, releasing of St. Francis College debut publication as 2020, educating the next and an exciting panel discussion. It was indeed a very creative program, well conceived and beautifully executed. Education is always for creating a better tomorrow. For a better tomorrow, there must be a better society. Education is one of the best means for social transformation. We need to be innovative in education. It is said that what we need is not well-filled minds, but well-formed minds that can respond innovatively to the new challenges that the future is going to bring. Our academic leaders and those who are at the helms of decision-making must carry a global vision of education for the students. Higher institutions of learning must become platforms of excellence, addressing the aspirations of a new generation wanting to excel in the global competitive framework. It has been quite a precious occasion for all of us here at St. Francis College, Koramangala, mainly to see the dignitaries and esteemed panelists from all around the globe collaborate together on a common platform for the good of society. I thank all the panelists who wholeheartedly accepted our invitation to grace the occasion by sharing such a thought-provoking panel discussion. They are experts and authority in their own respective fields. They are visionaries who have much to offer for a better tomorrow. I thank all the dignitaries and distinguished guests from around the world who accepted our invitation to be part of this noble cause to take that step forward today. I thank Mr. Shekhar Vijayan for being a moderator for the panel discussion and conducting such a seamless session today. He ensured that panel discussion is lively, engaging, and worthwhile. Moderator's intervention can make the best to come out from the panelists. The faculty and students of any institution are its backbone, and I most humbly thank everyone for their active interest and participation in making today a success. I congratulate SFC team, the management, the principal, director of strategic planning, the faculty, staff and students for their relentless efforts in making HARS 2020 a continuous and comprehensive outreach program. The first publication of SFC is very rich in content. I thank the faculty members, students, and all who have made their contributions with their stimulating articles. They have devoted a lot of time in the preparations of this. I thank all our partners, Radio Indigo, Savior Board of Higher Education, Catholic Club, ThreadWorks, EcoSol Global, India Today, Talent Services, International Education Consultancy, Arivipro, and others for their constant support, which has indeed created a wider audience beyond the vicinity. HARS immunity, HARS community, and HARS thoughts leaders was a new initiative to bring about the right spirit among the learning community. I thank all the speakers who accepted our invitation and graced the events for HAS 2020 drive. I thank all the principals of different colleges who took out time from their busy schedule to be a part of SFC publication. I also appreciate the hard work of design team who worked hard throughout the HAS campaign in creating a new outlook for HAS 2020 publication. On behalf of the management and faculty of St. Francis College, Koramangala, I once again thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for that wonderful message. And I have a request for everybody right now. Mr. Parsuraman wants to take a group picture with all of us. So if you could again come on the video, everybody. Yeah. He wants to take a group snap with us. Sir, your wish is my command.
Can we see Mr. Parshuraman?
He's right there. So, Samira, you taking the picture?
Yes. Yeah. At the count of 3, everyone, give me your brightest smile. 3, 2, 1, and ready. Can we have one with our hands up as well, including you, Shekhar? 3, 2, and go. That was beautiful. Yeah.
Thanks, Samira.
Yeah. Manjula?
Thank you, everybody, for that nice picture. And before we end the program, I would like to say that the feedback link will be shared on the chat. All the registered participants are requested to give the feedback. And there is a happy news before we end the program that a copy of Hatch 2020 publication will be sent to all the registered participants and who give the feedback, and later it will be available on Amazon. So thank you, everybody, for being a part of it and encouraging and making this program a success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to the MCs. MCs, you both of you have done a fantastic job, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And before we log off, a big thank you to everybody who's joined in. I'm talking about the panelists, the thought leaders, everybody's been listening into us. I think this information which we had today in terms of the panel discussion is gold dust. And, I think it started off really well, and we had so much of questions and so many discussions around it. A big round of applause to all the panelists who came in, who answered everything which we put forward. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful culture. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Santosh, I think we are done.
Yes, thank you. And also thank you, Shekhar Vijayan, for making this program so lively and the panel discussion, taking over the panel discussion and interacting with all the eminent personalities. I would like to thank you from bottom of my heart, and always you've been supportive for all the programs, what we have been doing. Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
once again, thank you all the panelists for being with us. Thank you so much and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the part which everybody hates, how to log off.
The chat box will be open for another 5 minutes. I request all the participants to kindly give the feedback, and a copy of Hatch publication will be sent to your email IDs within a week from now. The session will be open for another 2 minutes. I request all the participants to kindly register the feedback form.